So Different Stages, for its summer mystery, is doing Night Must Fall by Emlyn Williams, one of the very first plays that you know from the very beginning of the play who the murderer is. And typical of these plays, it takes place in a secluded cottage with basically mostly women, and it really is sort of a portrait of a serial killer, or someone who could potentially become a serial killer. He wrote Night Must Fall for himself to play the serial killer because he was fascinated by serial killers and by people who committed murders. He was on public transportation and he was looking over the shoulder of some woman who was looking at it, probably a British tabloid, who was looking at the picture of someone who was a killer, and the person said, well, he doesn't look like a killer at all. And that was the starting point. It's like, you know, do killers look like killers, or do they look like the most mundane people in the world? And I think the majority of the time they're the last person that you would expect. It was a big hit. I mean, you know, people were riveted by going and, you know, seeing, like, will they ever figure out, or if they do know, will they ever catch this guy who is beheading women? The other thing that's fascinating about this play is the young girl, the one who is on to the serial killer, is also attracted to him sexually. So in the time period, they had to do some rewrites of this play to get it past the Lord Chamberlain's office, because the whole idea of the woman being interested in the bad boy, the serial killer, because he's far more interesting than her boring boyfriend, is kind of like, And then there was some language there. I mean, for its time period, there is some language that they had to clean up. The male lead is played by Ben McLemore, who was in both Different Stages productions of The Night of the Iguana and You Can't Take It With You. He has done many plays at City Theater. This year he played Dr. Faustus. The rich old woman who owns the house where the play takes place in Essex is played by Mary Connally, who first came and auditioned for Different Stages last summer when we did Is Life Worth Living, another 30s play, and played the Grand Duchess Olga Katrina in You Can't Take It With You. And the young girl, that's being played by Bethany Harbaugh, who was in Children's Hour and was in Is Life Worth Living, and has done many things for a children's theater, the Pollyanna Theater Company, so here's her chance to play an adult role. The supporting cast includes Paula Gilbert, who's been with Different Stages for time immemorial, playing the housekeeper, and Laura Artesi, who played Desdemona in City Theater's Othello, and Terry Cooper, who is playing the local nurse, Jonathan Urso, who is playing Olivia's boyfriend, and Daniel Norton, who is playing the police inspector.